Hey guys, welcome to Multitaskr. I'm Joe Frosto, CEO and founder of Multitaskr, a marketplace where we unite homeowners and the best service providers in your area. But today I want to welcome you to our podcast. It's called the Home Solutions Network Podcast, and we're going to be introducing the top service providers, clients that have used our marketplace, and some of the people that direct this company, and very exciting stories. The goal of the podcast is to save you time, save you money, give you insights, give you tips, and create value for your home. So come on in and let's check it out. Hey guys, how are you? Today I'm sitting down with Eric Palacios. He's the director for landscape design here at Multitaskr. Eric's been with the company since we started, but Eric and I actually met in 2017 before we started the company. I didn't know his background. We started talking, and he actually has over 16 years experience in landscape design. Usually when you think of landscape, I was thinking of more just what you see typical maintenance of a home. But then when you start talking more in the design part, there's a lot that goes to it. So I'm very excited to introduce Eric to you guys, and he's going to share a lot of tips to us. And when is a landscape designer a good time to engage with, and just a lot of things that we're going to be able to learn. So thank you guys for joining us, and welcome, Eric. Thank you for joining us. So you spent over 16 years in landscape design, and what won't you share with our listeners what led you to landscape design and how you got started?
Well, what led me to landscape design is I was studying architecture, and I saw that in the field of landscape design, there was a lot of work. So it guided me to venture into that industry. A client of mine came at me at first, and he asked me, "Hey, do you do any landscape design?" Because he knew I was studying architecture. So I said, "Hey, well, I could do that for you. It's no problem. We'll try it out." And so we did do the design. We presented to the HOA. The client fell in love with it. We actually did the construction part of it, and I pretty much fell in love with it. And so basically that's how I started in this
Were you
industry.
already studying landscape design at that point, or were you just focusing on architecture?
I was just focusing on architects, so it goes in hand. So a lot of the it's the same things you have to follow for a design. And so it was very easy for me to venture into that. And then I went from architecture to get into landscape design courses and go to school and all that. And so
you focused on that.
And I focused on that. Yep.
Well, so you're passionate about landscape design?
I'm passionate about landscape design. I'm passionate about all design, indoor and outdoor. I fell in love with landscape because it gives you such a freedom for designing, because here it's more tract homes, a lot of tract homes and stuff like that. So you don't have as much freedom for designing as with landscape. And that's what I fell in love with.
More creative with it.
A lot more creative.
And one of the things I always get surprised with Eric when I'm talking to him about that is he knows all the plants names. So, and then when we bring plants to the office or stuff like that, he'll be looking at them, and it's like he's the plant whisperer, like he's talking to them. So yes. You can tell the passion of what he has towards it. So what would you say to somebody else that wants to be a landscape designer? Because like you said, a lot of people start in architect. Something that people don't know, I actually was thinking of becoming an architect. My father is a civil engineer. I started there and then saying I'm going to be an architect. And then I ended up studying finance. Completely different. But I've always liked it. I've always been intrigued by it. I always loved design. But someone that says, you know what, landscape design sounds interesting, what would you say about it or recommend people about it?
First, I would try to go with a company that's already doing landscape construction. And I would maybe go in as a part-time position to get the feel of what it's all about. Because when you start doing construction part of it, the construction side, then you start seeing every angle, all the stuff that you can incorporate with designing into the construction part. And yes, I would say that going to a part-time position into a landscape construction company, is what really will let you get that feel of how it is to do what we do. You gotta like to be outdoors, be in the sun, get a little dirty, get your hands dirty, stuff like that. So
But it could be exciting too.
It's exciting. If you
told
like
me,
it, hey, you'll fall in love with it right away.
You told me 16 years ago when you started, your first big project was actually in Cabo at a high-end
Yeah.
restaurant, at a high-end hotel.
Hotel,
Sorry.
yes. A contractor came at me. He's the one that actually did the build for my parents' house. I wasn't a contractor then, so he did the build, and I got talked to him. He saw that I was studying landscape design, and he said, "Hey, why don't you help me out with this hotel I have?" And I said, "Oh, okay, let's do it." And yep, I helped him out. Came to a really nice design we did. We did a pool area, jacuzzi, the infinity pools with pergolas, and the bar, swimming into the, you can swim up to the bar, all that kind of stuff. So it was a nice project, and I was lucky to be part of it. Yep.
So I assume you learned a lot.
I learned a lot, yes. Definitely learned a lot from that project.
So what would you say has changed from 16 years ago when you started in the industry to now? What are the biggest trends, biggest changes you've seen in landscape design?
In landscape design, well, technology, of course, how everything is changing through the systems, the lighting systems. Now you can control them, the color of lights through your phone. You can change all your lights outside through your phone. So now it's more smart. And now they're incorporating a lot the outdoor living. I don't know if you guys heard that term, but the outdoor living is basically what's you build something outdoor that kind of feels like you're indoor. A kitchen area with patio covers, and you put in TVs, all that kind of stuff that really brings in the inside to the out and incorporates both.
And I'm assuming now with everything that's going on with COVID and all the situation, a lot of people working from home and wanting to enjoy their home more.
Oh, yes.
And not traveling too much.
Not traveling too much, yep.
To make their home feel like a resort.
Exactly.
Feel like they
so
can
a lot
get
of,
away, right?
Yep. A lot of people are putting in pools in their homes now. So instead of going on vacation, they say, hey, let's stay home, put in a pool and enjoy it. And yeah, and so it's been working a lot for our industry, definitely.
So 16 years ago, we meet in 2017 before this project. Now you're part of this project. Why Multitaskr? Why did you join what we're doing here, and what do you like about what we're building here?
Well, first of all, I liked when I met you at the beginning, your whole work ethics, how you're very strong of a strong believer of what you're doing, and I can see what you're doing. So right there, I felt a little bit at ease to be working with you and to come into this venture with you. Then you came up with this idea of Multitaskr. You came and you told me about it. I was like, wow, that's incredible. It's something new in this industry. So I was very happy to be a part of that. I think Multitaskr will change a lot this industry on how we're doing our work with the client. It's a process that I'm seeing it's being a lot faster with the design aspect of it, when we're incorporating the technology part of it with the VFPs and the VR and all that. So that's something that I really fell in love with Multitaskr.
Well, we're happy to have you here too. Bringing all your expertise, and the goal of Multitaskr, as I always tell everyone out there, is to reduce friction and make everybody's lives easier. But not just the homeowner, but also the service provider, right? Yeah. And so we're happy to have your expertise, have your work ethic as well, and then with what you have, just trying to help you multiply what you already do and making it easier for you to help out more homeowners, and making it simpler to get your advice and your knowledge, and so more homeowners can take advantage of what you already know in those 16 years of experience. So with those 16 years of experience, let's ask a couple of questions that homeowners will probably be asking. Okay. One is, why a landscape designer? Like, I just bought a home. Like you said, I have a tract home, right? I don't want to spend too much money. Why am I going to hire a landscape designer?
And it's funny, a lot of clients try not to get to a designer. They say, oh, let's not pay for a designer. It's just going to be more cost. Let's just go straight to the contractor. And when you do that, a lot of the times, the majority of the times, the project ends up costing you more because there's things that you cannot foresee on the floor plan when you're doing the project. So that's one aspect of it. The other one is the design part of it is I mean, your end product it's a lot nicer when you get a designer, of course, because they are going over all the design elements that all designers have to go to create a nice landscape design, because you have the scale, you have to incorporate the scale, size of everything. You always have to know, you don't want to be putting in stuff that are too big for the area and stuff like that. Contractors, they didn't study that part. So they'll put in something really big for you and it costs a lot, and the look of it won't be as nice as a designer would do for you, and something maybe that would be more smaller, you don't need as big and stuff like that. So I think it's very important as a homeowner to definitely get a designer before you start doing the build.
And you'll be surprised, guys, that it's not expensive. Getting that extra knowledge, it's worth it. And one of the things that we're working on in Multitaskr, as you know, and that's one of the things I assume that you love of what we're doing, is we're trying to simplify packages and design packages, and being able to order different designs that will already going to be tailored to your home. So it'll make it simpler, it'll make it quicker, it'll make it cheaper. So that's the whole idea, is to bring you those solutions. And I understand sometimes you say, oh, I'm going to put a barbecue, it's going to be simple, I'm going to go buy it at Home Depot and have someone install it, and then I'm going to copy this picture and put it there. But sometimes it could be way more expensive, and it could be more complicated than you expect. And when you get someone that knows, they can tell you what to avoid, what not to do, and what to do, and get more bang for your buck, as they say. And I'm very confident when we have landscape questions or anything that is designed, even in the insides. We always talk to Eric about what he thinks and points of view, because we could always give back that feedback to the homeowner, and homeowners enjoy it a lot. And now with VR and all the things that we do, that you could actually visualize how things are going to look before you actually spend money, it's a huge wow factor for homeowners. And I know Eric loves that too, because he's able to be super creative, and at the same time he can change it with a click of a button and not have to go out there in the sun and change it. So that's great. With land space at a premium right now in cities like San Diego, what are the few options that you could do with small spaces, right? So we talked about tract homes. I mean, when it's a large home, you usually expect for the landscape to be beautiful and utilize all the areas. But tract homes, right? You have an HOA, you have a small space. Yep. What are some ideas that people could take advantage of?
Especially right now, a lot of the homes are being built. They're being built with really small yards, because a lot of people, they couldn't afford to landscape the big yards. So now they're giving them small yards, especially with the home value that went up so much. So they're trying to ease the homeowners with that. And so my expertise with that, it's you always have to take in consideration, you have a small area. You can't, a lot of people, they try to put in grass area in a small area. That does never works. It's unfortunate. When you have a small area, it's more like you got to look at it as a courtyard. That's the term we use, us landscape designers. It's a courtyard. So basically a courtyard it's all hardscape. It's basically bringing the inside out. So putting an outdoor kitchen area, fireplace, areas that you can sit and be and stuff like that. But you minimize a lot of the greenery of grass areas. We do planters around to soften the concrete and all that, and the walls and all that kind of stuff. But the key thing is visualize it as a courtyard, not as a backyard. Yeah.
And a lot of people, they can visualize it with our tools. Some people don't get it. They don't see it. They think landscape, they think green, right? So they want to put they want to put either turf, or they want to put the grass, which there's nothing wrong against that. But there's other things you can do and utilize the space better, like you mentioned. And you can actually visualize it and see it with our VR tools and all the other stuff that we do. So right now with the whole eco-friendly green, we do a lot of renewable energy products. On the landscape world, as you mentioned, there's a lot of smart tools now, from ways to save water and ways to irrigate differently. What tips or what recommendations do you give to people that they should do for their landscape to reduce cost on water?
Yeah. So number one cost here on landscape in San Diego is water, of course, because we don't have rain that much. So what I always do when I go into a client's home, I check their irrigation system. I advise them, hey, if it's not drip, let's change it to drip. Now these companies are coming out with these timers, these control timers that are smart. And so now what we do is when we install these special timers in these homes, we are basically we are catering it to whatever it has, whatever plants is in that yard. So we type in the type of plants, what areas it is, so it knows how much shade it has. And then it goes on weather.com every day, and it's checking the heat, the humidity, all that. So it knows on each plant that we put, because it knows which plants are in there, it'll know, okay, this plant needs this much gallons of water a day. We're gonna it has to get more. So now today it's gonna turn on by itself for a longer time for that plant to thrive and be healthy. And so that's a big thing right now. And for especially homes that have a big yard, or homeowners or it's their vacation home. And then this system actually stops when there's a leak. So it's really good for people that are on vacation, that have vacation homes. So because they're on vacation, they come back and, you had a flood and your whole yard is all flooded and thousands of dollars went down. So it's a really good, really good tool to use. Yep, we're using that.
And can you advise, for example, let's say you go out and you check the irrigation and I don't know, they have certain plants that consume a lot of water. Can you also advise them on maybe changing a couple of plants or maybe redesigning sort of the planting on the landscape to use less water but still look nice?
Yes, of course. And people think, drought-tolerant plants, they're just like cactus and they're ugly. And no, that's not the case. There's a lot of plants that are really nice and drought-tolerant, have nice color and all that. And then we can also, there's ways that you can make the plant more drought-tolerant. You can train it. So there's ways that we can help the homeowner, but we have to go out and we have to do the service ourselves to train it. And so the homeowner, they can't do it because it's a little bit of process, but there's ways you can actually train the plants to be more drought tolerant. Yep.
So what 3 questions do you think homeowners should ask when they hire a landscape designer?
Well, landscape designer, you want to see if he specializes in a certain design, because a lot of designers do that, especially at the beginning. At the beginning, you're like, I love this design, and they just want to do that design. So you want to see if he specializes in one design. If he does specialize on that design, make sure it's the type of design you want. That's the one he specializes in. If it's a different type of design you want, he specializes in something, it's not going to come out as nice. So that is one key factor. Another one, I would say pictures of before and after of his projects, so you can really see how nice it came out. Because on paper it could look nice, but once you do the build, it could look a lot different. And so that's another key factor right there. And then obviously the experience he has in designing, that's another big one too. So the years that he has of designing, obviously is a big key.
So Eric, on a final note, just to recap here for homeowners, what is the final kind of advice that you would give to homeowners?
Well, basically, all the advice that I've been given right now, it's pretty much what you want to follow. The key part here is really get your landscape designer to do the project. Don't get your contractor to do it. That's a main key thing. Also, when you're doing remodels in your home and then your general contractor say, we can do the outside too. That's another thing that it could come out nice, but they don't have the experience that we do for the design aspect of it, and also different plants and all that kind of stuff. It goes a little hard for them to understand that part, and it comes out a lot better when you really do use the experienced people for that, for your landscape. So yeah, I really do recommend everyone to get their landscape designer definitely for your project, and that's a #1 problem.
And one thing a lot of homeowners ask us too is because of the VR and all the design tools that we have that people can visualize it, they think that one, they think it's expensive, which is not. And then two, they think that if we do that for them, they have to utilize us as their contractor or someone that we refer if they already have a contract. And that's not the case. You could actually keep using your contractor and just hire us to kind of create the design for you. Of course, you're going to charge you for that, but at the end of the day, it's not expensive and it's totally worth it. And we could even guide you. We could even be the project manager for it too. So there's multiple ways we can help you out. But Eric, thank you for being here with us. Hopefully, homeowners, you enjoyed some of those tips that Eric gave you. And I know that you'll be seeing Eric with more projects that will be coming out. We're going to start filming a lot of the testimonials of clients that have used Eric's services. And if you want to reach out to Eric, reach out to him. If you want to reach out to us, you can reach us out at info@multitaskr, gomultitaskr.com. And thank you for joining us, guys. Have a wonderful day. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Hey guys, thank you for joining Multitaskr's Home Solution Network podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please click on subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our next podcasts. Remember, every single podcast, we're going to give you different advice on how to save time, how to save money, and how to create value. Check us out at gomultitaskr.com. Click subscribe.